all of you and the whole world and the sun and the light and I just sort of jump off the end and see what happens. And
Can they hear?
can you hear okay? You guys okay? And part of the process is that I learn something. Because it's one thing to sit at a computer by yourself and to think about it and research it. It's a whole other thing to bring it forward out of my body and heart and mind and to resonate with you. So that's this is a little bit like bathing the baby Buddha through words through this Dharma talk. Let's see what happened. Celebrating the birth of the Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, which is really the birth of everything. Birth of all small creatures and children and animals and plants and life. Flowers, it's a beauty, decorating the altar. We also then celebrate the birth of the earth and the sky and the sea, everything. And that each moment is a birth. Fresh and new and alive, no matter what the circumstances are. That's why I love little Jesus. It's like, hear him, hear him. There's a conditioned self in me that thinks, oh God, here we are, I mean, all the things that all of yourselves, and I like it and I don't like it. But little Jesus is just like, here I am, fearlessly, here I am. So we celebrate Buddha's vows. And Buddha planted beneficial seeds of wholesome karma, studying the Yogacara, right? In this lifetime and across lifetimes, I'm going to get to a Jataka tale at the end, just so we don't think it's just in the human realm. And so we understand that we are standing on the shoulders of practicing beings across time and space, past, present, and future. That the deepest motivation is love and compassion that arises out of, I have always been amazed and continue to be that Buddha, as a very young person, stepped outside of pleasure palaces of his protected little world and saw sickness, aging, and death and just never turned away. I mean, I bargain with it all the time. Sickness, aging, death. Yeah. Oh my God, listen. I mean, but Buddha was just so clear from the minute that she was born. And so deep gratitude to a human being. We in this era, because there are Buddhas across time and space, the Shakyamuni Buddha said, I'm here for you. I'm here for the whole world. There's no separation. So I'm going to start by just the story of the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha. Because we all have a particular birth story, right? You all got one, I all got one. So Shakyamuni's story, just more of a myth, but probably by the time we tell any story, it's embellished in one way or another, it turns into some kind of myth. Once upon a time, in a kingdom of the mountains in what is now known as Nepal, the queen of the kingdom, named Maya, which in Nepali means love, Queen Love, was pregnant with her first child. One night she had a dream of a majestic elephant with 6 tusks coming towards her, vitally but gently, that melted into her. What a great dream. She knew this dream was important. So Maya and her husband Sudhana went to a wise person who said this dream was a very good omen, that the child she was carrying would be a great and wonderful person, a king in the truest sense of the word. When Maya could feel the time for her child to be born was approaching, following the tradition of her ancestors, She journeyed to the Lumbini Grove, named for her grandmother, the sacred birthing place protected by the goddess Abhadeva. Been to that birthing grove. It's a great big tree. That's not the same tree, but it's an ancestor of the tree. It's all wrapped up. It's decorated. Illustration. Under a sacred birthing shala tree, Maya stood upright, grasped a branch with her right hand, and the tree gently lowered her branches to offer Maya support. So always in accord with the earth. In fact, all of Buddha's important life stories all are in relationship to a tree, really. And I always think, when we sit zazen, we're sitting like a tree. Rooted, upright. This is the tree of life. I mean, every tradition, tree of life, it's like you can't get around. It's pretty cool. So with her sister Mahapajapati holding her, she effortlessly gave birth to her son, Siddhartha, who 35 years later was to awaken as the Buddha. We don't talk about, but we do talk about more now, is that Maya died soon after the Buddha was born, and he was raised by Mahapajapati. I think those stories of Dogen had an early loss. These early losses help wake us up. Okay, so now, because I can't help myself, and because I figured you'll be tolerant of me, and because we've studied the Avatamsaka Sutra, and I know the Avatamsaka Sutra is over the top, but it's also, everything is over. I mean, if you just take a look at the prose, for goodness sakes. If you don't think that's over the top, you're not paying attention, it's like, okay, so here's the story from the Avatamsaka Sutra that described, this is Buddha's mother speaking about the conception of the Buddha, which is really a moment of birth. At that time, I was in the house of King Suddhana. And when the time of the Buddha's descent from the heaven of contentment had arrived, isn't that great? It's just hanging out in the heaven of contentment, which, what's the name? Tushita heaven. I remember being in Bodh Gaya and in Zen, nobody taught us about Tushita heaven. I think the Tibetans all know about Tushita, it's Zen just like, but I was at Bodh Gaya where Buddha was enlightened, and there's a whole temple complex, and it happened to be that night that there was going to be a celebration of Buddha coming down from Tushita heaven, and all the nuns and monks had set up candles all over this huge temple, and I got invited too. I was so happy to go around and help light the candles. And a nun, I think she was Korean, she was in a pink robe, and she said to me, "Isn't it beautiful, sister?" And that was one of the kindest that she completely included. It was one of so kind. Anyway, so Buddha's going to come down from the heaven in contentment. So when the time came, from every pore, the Buddha emanated as many rays of lights and atoms in unfold Buddha lands, arrayed with the qualities of the birth of all Buddhas, known as the light originating from the qualities of birth of all Buddhas. Isn't it beautiful? So use your imagination. Those rays of light illumine the whole world and then descend on my body, Maya's body, Buddha's mother's body, and entered into every pore of her body, beginning with my head. And as soon as those light rays of the lightning beings, the Buddha with various names emanating magical projections of the various miracles attending the birth of a Buddha, had entered me. You think this doesn't happen to every mother on some level? Mm-hmm. It's like the miracle, the mystery of birth is happening all the time, and everybody being born is a Buddha, waking up to be a Buddha. Soon as all of this had entered her, they caused the spheres of light at the front of the lightning beings' light rays to be manifest in my body, and the supernatural manifestations of miracles attending the birth of all enlightening beings were visible. Whole world lights up. And as soon as those light rays and the lightning beings had entered my body, interesting, she keeps saying my body. Body, this is body. I saw all the lightning beings whose miracle bursts were shown in the spheres at the front of the enlightened beings' light rays as they sat on the Buddha's lion throne at the site of enlightenment, surrounded by congregations of lightning beings, honored by the leaders of the world, turning the wheel of teaching. Then all the Buddhas that appeared also were carrying out enlightenment practices. They were waking up. Trying to cut this a little bit. And they were teaching. And the whole world was listening. And it pervaded the whole cosmos in every moment of consciousness. So if Buddhas are being born each moment, this is happening all the time. We just kind of walk around thinking, oh, well, it's okay. Yeah, well, I'll sit this period of zazen. Yeah, well, that's why I want the little G. The Jesus know. Look at them. They're happy. They know this. Upon the appearance in my body of the furnishings of the enlightening beings abode in the womb, the lightning being together with as many lightning beings as atoms in 10 Buddha lands, all with the same vow. Everybody has the same vow, the same practice, the same roots of goodness, the same state of liberation, and the same state of knowledge, adept at the same mystical projection, all accomplish the same endeavor, adept at the same practice. Anyway, everybody was focused completely on waking up and generating goodness. Can you feel it? That's when we do the backward step. That's in moments of zazen, when you're not completely believing your mind, and you just have this sense of connection and interconnection. It's like plugging into, this is what's really happening. And all of this is regenerated in all worlds, from each heaven of contentment to early existence, following a skill and means of developing inconceivable numbers of sentient beings to maturity and happiness. They're all here to help us. Everything is here to help us mature. And for the world to mature and to detach from detachments, and to emanate a great network of light beams, dispelling the darkness from all worlds, stopping all evils and all miseries, putting an end to all hellish ways of being, making all beings aware of their past deeds, rescuing all beings, appearing in the presence of all beings. The Buddha descended from the heaven of contentment with his residue and entered my belly. That happened when you were born too. It's just there probably was a little more confusion around. So the birth of the Buddha has many dimensions. The Buddha is not limited to one person. There are Buddhas everywhere across time and space, birthing each moment into form. And in just this moment on this earth, born on this earth. The story uses that when Shakyamuni was born, the little baby immediately stood up and did 7 steps on the earth. On the earth. In all 10 directions, and the lotus blossoms, the world received this being and said, oh, we're so glad you're here. And I always really like to remember that the early images of the Buddha were footsteps on the earth. Today, feel your feet on the earth. So Tamsaka Sutra, I figured I might as well weave in the Lotus Sutra, which is another extravagant. Constance is smiling. Constance was so when she led us through the Lotus Sutra. It was so wonderful. But one of my favorite stories in the Lotus Sutra is, and maybe you'll remember, is that all these great beings that are, there when the Buddha was born and that they're all just sort of there. I always feel like when we do a Jukai or like an ordination ceremony and you call them all in, that they all come. I have a great imagination. I can feel them. They all show up and they're all so happy that somebody's taking vows. So in the story of the Lotus Sutra, they all come down to help Buddha because they feel sorry for him. Like they're looking down in this suffering world and they're saying, "You down here all by yourself? You were born? You said you're going to help everybody? Don't you need some help?" And the Buddha says, "Thank you very much, but I'm fine down here." Because there are Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who have been practicing under the earth for eons, for lifetimes, beyond lifetimes. And then all, like the little Jesus, they all just pop up. All these Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and they say, "How can I help? We're here." They're just waiting to be asked, which is the way I think it is all the time. It's like each in our own way. I could be as self-centered as anybody, but there's always somebody in me that's also popping up saying, "Here I am. How can I help? What can we do? How can we help make more peace and happiness and goodness here?" Bodhisattvas from under the earth are emergent, coming from the roots, from seeds planted in the deep ground on the earth and in goodness, where they take their nourishment. So the earth is where and how, I'm sure it happens in lots of different realms, but we got the earth and it's happening right here all the time, right in the midst of war zones, right in the midst of wherever we are. Here I am, ever ready to spring forth and benefit all beings. So to really love and follow the Buddha is to love and care for the world, which is to love and care for all beings. Bodhisattvas just say, why would Buddha want to come down into a particular womb on earth in all these light beams when you could just stay in a realm of contentment? But the teaching is, it's not that we're not looking for contentment. It's just contentment is all inclusive. It's always, please be here, rooted like a tree, upright in the midst of all of it. On the earth. So I thought, because Wednesday is Earth Day, I'd throw a little homage to Mother Earth in here so we don't just honor Maya and Mahavajapati and Shakyamuni Buddha, but all being, here's a little thing from Thich Nhat Hanh. Mother Earth, the mother of all beings, present in every cell of our bodies. Ooh, we're back in bodies again. You gave birth to every miraculous form of life. Your children include the clear lake, the green pine, the pink cloud, the snow-capped mountaintop, the fragrant forest, the white crane, the golden deer, the extraordinary caterpillar, the simple branch of cherry blossoms, the shell of a snail, and the wing of a bat. We don't need the Avatamsaka Sutra. We need the Avatamsaka Sutra and all its wonder to get to just look here. You, Mother Earth, have given birth to countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. It's because you're endowed with the capacity of awakening that all your children are too. Each one of us carries within ourselves the seed of awakening, the ability to live in harmony with our deepest wisdom, the wisdom of interbeing. My physical body is your physical body, And just as the sun and stars are present in you, they are also present in me and in you and in all beings. Even the ones that we think are stupid and what in the world? How in the world? How can this be? It really does take a kind of transformation of how we see, how we be. And it doesn't mean we don't say stop that, but where we say it, from how we say it. You are not outside of me, and I am not outside of you. You are nothing less than so. But then I found Suzuki Roshi. One of the first Buddha's birthdays when he was bringing Zen to America at San Francisco Zen Center. And I thought it was so sweet because, are we going to get this ceremony right? Are we going to do it right? How's it compared to like San Francisco Zen Center where everybody's professionals and I just wanted to read you some of what he said because he says the spirit is what's important here. You want to hear it? Well, he can't believe because it never happened in Japan that people are going to sing happy birthday to the Buddha. And he laughs and laughs. He says, I think that's a first, happy birthday song for the Buddha. He laughs and laughs. Many things are happening here. Just remember to sing happy birthday this afternoon. He says the Zen group in America, including Zen Center, are developing so rapidly. It's like this little man just came. He always wanted to come to America. And he shows up and he just says, in this little Japanese temple and that had invited him to congregation he just says, I'm going to be sitting at a certain time every morning, some god awful early time in the morning. And you can come sit with me if you want. And all these kind of crazy Western hippies start showing up, which of course then creates problems with the people who invited him, the Japanese congregation, and then you have to work it out. But that's just the way it is. But he just said, here I am. How can I be of help? This is what I know, and what can I offer? Then he says, after, painting the hall and decorating the flower shrine, which you're going to do at lunch, and cleaning up various rooms and hallways, we have this ceremony. This is, I think, a very meaningful thing. The flower shrine and altar we have right now is a very tentative one. It's not, it's like if you look at, I always think of high churches, it's like if you look at really established Zen centers, it's like, oh, the pagodas are really, our pagoda is going to be so perfect. And so it's going to be very tentative because it's just impermanence and it's just us doing the best we can in this moment. And he says, this is very meaningful. The Soto practice is always something like this. Something has been something like this. We are trying to improve the way we celebrate Buddha, the way we decorate the altar. Let me also say, I can't believe we have a pagoda. Do you know how many years we didn't have a pagoda? We have a pagoda. This is, oh my God, are we getting professional? We better be careful. But if you lose the spirit of this, maybe in this way, but if we lose the spirit, this could, be a really awful thing. To just decorate without taking care of things. And then he says, calls it an ambulatory actor. Maybe a traveling actor who goes around various places without not much, artistic sense. But if we practice and continue to practice like we have been practicing our way in America, something which is very meaningful and beautiful will result. And it's us, here we are. And we're passing it along and passing it along, and we're passing it along to the sun and the sky and the moon, and resonating across all the heavens. If we make our effort, something will result in this country. And as the Buddhist Bodhisattva vow is to continue our way forever, Buddha's teaching, something which was told by Buddha, will be developed forever. And with this spirit, we should celebrate Buddha's birthday, even though the way we celebrate is not perfect. What a beautiful permission. I just love the permission to just, it's the spirit that counts. That's what we're doing. And we keep asking, what is it? Here I am. I'm just pouring sweet tea over the Buddha's head with love and devotion. Okay, so one more. There's been a number of deaths of some of the early practitioners. Alan Senauke, who was the abbot of Berkeley Zen Center, died. Must be a couple of years ago now, maybe a year. But he gave this talk. He said Mel, the head of Berkeley Zen Center, and Mel was head of the Berkeley Zen Center. Poor Alan was, I shouldn't say this. Alan was the designated heir, but Mel just wouldn't go away. Well, there's just dramas everywhere, you know. But anyway, on this particular one, Mel had to be someplace else, and Alan got to give the talk about Buddha's birthday. And he decided, because every year Mel would tell the story about Buddha's birthday, that this time he was going to do something different. So I wanted, and he told a Jataka tale that he had heard from Rafe Martin, who is Erica and Joe, right? The same, yeah. So there you go. That's part of why I wanted to, but this is a great story. The Jataka tales, we spent some time studying them, are stories that the Buddha told about how in lives that he remembered in the past, he took different forms and took animal forms and forms of a king or forms of a layperson, and saved sentient beings of all kinds, and saved other animals and other people and other lands and trees and water. The Buddha just has been doing this forever. And so have you, and so have I, and so have we, and so is everything. There's just no end to it. So you want to hear the story of the foolish rabbit and the noble lion? You can just be a child. I mean, that's the great thing. So you don't have to be a grown-up. Just let these wonderful animals be your teacher. So long ago, and in a jungle far away, there was a little rabbit. Have you all seen the video of Barack Obama and Madawi reading the children's story? Is it Little Rabbit Foo-Foo or something in a child care center? And they're laughing, and the kids are. I mean, it makes you remember goodness. We're so ready to hear horror that these two wonderful Buddha beings are singing a song about. I think it's about a little rabbit. This little rabbit was sleeping under a big apple tree, and he was just kind of half sleeping, half waking, and letting all kinds of thoughts bubble up into his mind. And he had this kind of scary thought, and he didn't know where it came from, but all of a sudden he thought, what if the earth broke up? We never have thoughts like that. We're way more mature. We talk ourselves down right away. No, that's a joke. What if the earth was breaking up? What a terrible, scary thing that would be. And he was just lying there thinking, what if the earth broke up? And all of a sudden, there was this, and he jumped up and he ran off into the jungle and he said, the earth's breaking up, the earth's breaking up. Everybody run for your life. The earth's breaking up, and he was terrified. You don't identify with this at all, right? And he ran by another little rabbit who was sitting outside his hole. And he didn't even stop. And the little rabbit said, "Where are you going? Where are you hurrying to? What's happening?" And he just kind of looked back over his shoulder and said, "The earth's breaking up. Run, run for your life. The earth's breaking up." And of course, what did the other little rabbit say? "Well, I better get going too." And he went hopping down the road behind that first rabbit. And they came to a second rabbit. And they said, and who said, "What are you guys doing? What's the hurry? Wait, 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 wait for me." And they just said, "We can't wait for anything. The earth's breaking up. Come on. You can come with us if you want." And so he joined the parade. And pretty soon there were 3 rabbits, and there were 4 rabbits, and 5, and 10, and 20, and 50, and 100 rabbits hopping and charging through the jungle. And while they were charging through the jungle, they passed their brother bear, who was sitting outside his den, just kind of sleeping and dozing. He kind of lifted his eyes and saw all this commotion tearing through the brush, and he said, "What's going on? What's your hurry? Where are you all going?" And they didn't stop for anything. They just said, "The earth's breaking up. The earth's breaking up. We gotta go." And the bear said, "The earth's breaking up? Oh my gosh. Well, if the earth's breaking up, then I better get moving too." And so he started lumbering on. And when the bear starts to lumber, they look kind of big and slow. But actually, they roll along pretty quick. So 100 rabbits, and you had this big lumbering bear just lumbering along. And pretty soon, as you might know, he passed his sister bear. And what do you think happened? She said, "Whoa, where are you going?" And he just looked over his shoulder and said, "The earth's breaking up. The earth's breaking up. I'm following the rabbits." And she said, "The earth's breaking up? I better get going too." So then he had 100 rabbits, 2 bears, and then they met a third bear. And he said, "Well, where are you bears going?" And he said, "We're going with the rabbits. The earth's breaking up. And we're getting out of here." And of course, the third bear said, "The earth's breaking up. Well, I better get running too." So he ran off with the other bears. And then you had 5 bears, 10 bears, 20 bears, 50 bears, 100 bears following the 100 rabbits, and they were tearing through the jungle. And as they were going along under a big palm tree, there was a giant elephant. And the elephant was just sitting there. And it was a hot day. The elephant was souping up the water out of the pond and sprinkling it over his back and fanning himself with his big ears. And he heard all this commotion in the jungle, and he said, "Hey, what's going on? Where are y'all going? What's happening? What's your hurry? Where's everybody going?" And they just said, "What?"
The earth's breaking up.
Yeah. Very good. They're listening. "The earth's breaking up." And he said, "The earth's breaking up? Oh my gosh. Well, if the earth is really breaking up, I am the biggest and the heaviest thing around, and I'm going to be the first one to fall in. So I better get going too." So he started out with his tail sticking straight out back, his trunk sticking straight out front, trumpeting, "Ma, ma." And the other elephants heard him and said, "What on earth is that?" And he just said, "The earth's breaking up, and I'm getting out of here." So he told his second elephant friend. And then he told the third, and pretty soon they had a whole line of 20, 30, 50, 100 elephants. And what a trumpeting, growling, hopping sound they had going through the jungle. It was pretty awesome. And that elephant, he didn't let anything get in the way. None of those elephants. They saw a tree, they just ripped the tree out by the roots and flung it off. There was a boulder in their way, and they just threw it off over the side. And they cut a path through the jungle like a big freeway, trumpeting and running and raising a big cloud of dust. And as they were going through the jungle, out on a flat, hot rock, they'd passed a snake. And that big snake was sunning himself, and he said, "So what's the hurry? Where are you all going in such a rush?" And the elephants just looked back over their shoulder and said, "The earthquake. We're getting out of here. The earth is breaking up." And the snake says, "Well, the earth's breaking up. I'm so close to the ground. I'm gonna get in big trouble. So what am I going to do? I better get sly." And so he started sliding off over the rocks and over the stumps and around the ponds. And so you had big whole caravans of rabbits and bears and elephants and snakes. And then, following them, you had rhinoceroses and giraffes. And what else was there? Monkeys. Monkeys. What other kinds of animals do you think? Grass. Gorillas, yes, turtles. And crocodiles and lobsters. So you had a whole parade of crabs too. You had all these animals charging and scuttling and clawing their way through the jungle. Alligators. Whoops, we said that already. You forgot ducks. Forgot what? Ducks. Ducks were waddling. Everybody was just going through the jungle. They didn't know where they were going, but they were heading right toward the end of the jungle. And up on the hilltop, oh, birds too. They were flying along. Everything was moving along in the same direction, except up on the hilltop, there was a big golden lion. And that lion was just kind of half awake in the sun. Everybody was sleeping because it was a hot day. And he looked down and he said, he heard all the noise and he saw all the rushing and all the turmoil and wondered, where are they all going? Do you ever feel that way when you read the news? Where are we all going, stampeding through this jungle? And this great lion said, they're going to be in big trouble. Because you know what? They're running towards the end of the jungle. And at the end of the jungle, there's a big cliff. And if somebody doesn't help them and stop them, they're going to all run right off that cliff and fall down 1,000 feet and die. And somebody should help them. All help them. And so he drew himself up and he got all his strength together and he took a big breath and took 3 giant lion leaps out over the hillside, out over the whole jungle, and landed smack in front of all those animals. And just went. And they went. Good thing Christian gave me water. I never know about lions' roars. And they all screeched to a stop right in front of him. And he said, "Wait a minute, where are you all going? What are you doing?" And of course they said, "Didn't you know the earth is breaking up? The earth's breaking up. We got to get out of here. The earth's breaking up." And the great lion said, "Wait a minute. The earth's not breaking up." And touched the ground with his paw and said, "Here it is, solid as it ever was. Now look around you. Do you see the earth breaking up?" And they looked around and said, not so sure. The lion said, "Well, who told you that the earth would break?" And the rabbit and the crab, and they said rabbit. And the crab said it was the lobsters, and the lobsters said it was the alligators, and the alligators said it was the birds, and the birds said it was the snakes, and the snakes said it was the elephants, and the elephants said it was the bears, and the bears said it was the rabbits, and the rabbits said, And they pointed to the first little rabbit. And the lion turned to the first little rabbit and said, "Was it you who started running through the jungle saying the earth's breaking up?" And the little rabbit said, "Yeah, it was me. The earth's breaking up. We got to get out of here. The earth's breaking up." And the lion said, How do you know the earth is breaking up? And the little rabbit said, because I was under the apple tree way back across in the jungle and I heard a terrible crashing sound and the earth's breaking up. And the lion said, didn't I just show you? And the lion said, didn't I just show you that the earth's not breaking up? Didn't I touch the ground and it's solid? It's okay. And the rabbit said, well, maybe you showed me. And the lion said, let's go back to that tree. Can you show me that where that tree is? And the little rabbit said, oh no, I'm not going back there. It's way too scary. I'm not going back to that tree. The earth's breaking up. And the lion just went, roar. And said, get on. And the rabbit jumped on the lion's back. And the lion took another big breath and took a big lion leap, 3 big lion leaps, and went right back to that apple tree, to the root of that apple tree. And the rabbit got off, and they were looking around through the bush, and the lion was just kind of pawing around through the brush. And all of a sudden, do you know what he found? What do you think he found under that apple tree? Found an apple. He found a big red juicy apple and he said, what do you think the sound was when this apple came falling down off the tree into the jungle? Was that your crashing sound? And the monkey said, and the rabbit said kind of sheepishly, well, maybe that was the crash. Is that the sound you heard and you thought the earth was breaking up? Well, maybe it was. And the lion said, I think it was. I think we need to go back and tell all your friends that this was the earth breaking up and get on board. So the rabbit climbed back on board of the lion's back, and they took 3 more big lion leaps, and they ended up right in back of all the friends and the crabs and the alligators and the birds and the giraffes and the snakes and the elephants and the bears and the rabbits and the lions that and the fishes, and said, I think maybe the earth really wasn't breaking up. What I heard was just an apple. So what do you think they all did? They got furious. And they blamed the rabbit and said, you made us run all the way through the jungle because of this. And they gathered around him and they were going to tear him apart. Of course, none of this has anything to do with any of the way that he did it. And the lion said, wait just a minute. Didn't you follow this foolish rabbit? Did any of you stop and look and see if the earth was breaking up? If there was anything really to be afraid of? And they said, well, gee, no. And the lion said, the next time something scares you, the next time you feel like you're going to run off and do something and just follow somebody, check it out. Check out for yourself what's really happening. Is there really something to be scared of? You can ask them to stop and think. What was it that scared them? Use your senses and your good sense. Use your ability to think about things. And they all thought that was a really good idea. And they slowly walked back to all the places that they lived in the jungle. And the rabbit turned to the lion and said in a kind of embarrassed way, thank you. Thank you for showing me the earth's not breaking up. And the lion said, well, you're very welcome. And he took another breath and took 3 big lion leaps back to his hilltop, where he just lay down, and the little rabbit tucked his apple under his arm and hopped back under his apple tree all the way across the jungle. And he lay down there and kind of patted the ground, and he looked up at the sky and he took a big bite at that juicy red apple. And that's the story of the foolish rabbit and the little lion. Yay. what we do today. We just sit with all the parts of us that are running through the jungle. The rabbits, the snakes, the crocodiles, the sky's falling. We got 100 million different stories, right? And then we just touch the ground. Oh, here we are. Giving birth to Buddha nature, to the lion's roar, to wisdom and understanding and compassion. It's inherent in our cells and our hearts and in everything. It's just you have to sit down and listen. That's why I love having these little beings up on the altar, right in the midst of genocide. How do we respond? Touch the earth. And then we'll know. And give birth to a Buddha in our thoughts and our actions and our minds. And we can bow before flowers and appreciate the beauty of a spring day. And just be kind to our gravity minds and hearts. And trust ourselves to Mother Earth and to caring for everything. Because sometimes the earth really is coming apart and she needs care, and we all need care. The noble lion. Wait a minute. Stop. Think deeply. Look deeply. So the birth of a Buddha is not limited to one person. What a Buddha really is a moment whenever great wisdom and compassion come together in this world, and a thought, an action, a kind word, a moment of generosity, a moment of what do you think is going on here? Just stop, take a breath. And then Buddha is born through each one of us. And I have always deeply loved that the lion's roar, the Buddha. We're gonna, as soon as we finish this section of Thich Nhat Hanh that we've been on, we're gonna, I decided I needed to go back, and so you're all gonna come with me. And we're gonna do the lion's roar of Queen Srimala, which is an ancient sutra. And so what is this lion's roar? It just says, stop, look, what's really happening here, and how can we be of help? And how can it be that when we see a newborn baby Buddha, Jizo, today, that there's a lion's roar resounding everywhere? All we have to do is stop and listen. And that's how we help each other. So, what are we really doing here? What are we really doing here? So come on, I have a question. Somehow you got a precious human body and life, just like the Buddha. Wow, that's amazing. They say it's as rare as I think it's a blind turtle floating in an ocean and sticking its head up through a log that's going by that's got a hole in the log, and it puts its head up. It's like, don't take this life for granted. Let's just keep giving birth to what we were all born for, to wake up and be Buddhists. And Suzuki Roshi said, kind of messy and perfect Buddhists, but that's exactly perfect. So, what a great way to spend the day. And then in the end, we'll get to sing. And be grateful. or at all. Because why would you leave the little rabbit or the snake or anything out of your home? Okay.
Days are endless. I vow to save them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to end them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Buddha's way is unsurpassable. I vow to become.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I was sitting on the edge of my seat.
I kept thinking about when I was working with veterans, these are big, tough combat vets, Iraq, Afghan, now we're doing a whole other generation. I just think, oh, what are we doing? But my friend Lee Lesser that I would do this with was a preschool teacher. And she had this idea that she was gonna read children's books to these big tough vets, and I thought, you are out of your mind. And Lee being Lee, she just did it, and it was like looking up at all of you, they were all just, I could tell at first, a few of them were like, I'm out of here, this is so weird, and in the end, they were just like little children, they were just like the children with Obama and Badawi.
Yeah.
Which is what we all are, is we just want somebody to be kind and present and to remember goodness, so there you go, sorry I had to share that.
Yeah. Children's books are full of enlightening stories.